Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are from Group 7, and on this occasion, we would like to present our topic entitled Bureaucratic Reform in Indonesia, Progress and Obstacles. Before we start our presentation, let us introduce ourselves. Hello everyone, my name is Resti Aula Devina with student IDs 666125024 as a moderation for today, and also the second presenter with my teammates.
Hello, my name is Aura Esmin Firdaus and student ID 66612500079 and my friend.
My name is Ririn Kuratul Aini Putri with student ID 66612500089.
Okay, so this is our key points for today. First one is background, definition and theoretical definition and theoretical concept, supporting data, progress and obstacles, chart or visualization, result, conclusion, recommendation, and reference. So, for the first section, I will hand over this presentation to Aura.
Background, an efficient and transparent bureaucracy is believed to be capable of improving the quality of public service while reducing corruption and strengthening democratic development. This has emerged as a response to various criticism of the old bureaucracy, which is considered to have legacy, administrative progressive, overlapping regulation, and provided opportunities for corruption and illegal costs. Bureaucratic reform aims to improving the effectiveness and efficiency of public service, improving accountability and transparency, preventing corruption, collusion, and abuse of authority, realizing digital government, improving the quality of government management and at the central regional levels. And next is what is bureaucratic reform? The definition. Bureaucratic reform is a process of fundamental change in the structure of the performance of government that aims to improve the efficiency, effectiveness, and equality of service to the public. Bureaucratic reform is a process to improve or change the government bureaucracy towards clean, free of corruption, collusion, and nepotism. Abiding responsible, professional, ethical, and moral bureaucracy. Bintaro Djokromijojo also embraces the same idea in the concept of bureaucratic reform as the process of improvement or change in the institution in the governmental system towards good and clean governance. And the next slide is legal basis and national policy. In legal basis, law number 17 of 2007 concerning the National Long-Term Development Plan RPJPN 2005 to 2025 serves as the reference for development and the grand design of bureaucratic reforms. Furthermore, presidential regulation number 81 of the 2010 concerning the grand design for bureaucratic reform 2025 provides the primary foundation for the comprehensive implementation of bureaucratic reform. In addition, law number 20 of 2023 concerning the state civil apparatus ASN strengthen the basis for bureaucratic reform by enhancing competency and ensuring the protection of the ASN profession. And the next slide is national policy. National national policy is operationalized through a roadmap periodically established by the Ministry of the Administrative and Bureaucratic Reform PAN-RB, Ministerial Regulation of PAN-RB number 25 of 2020 concerning the 2024 Bureaucratic Reform Roadmap Service as a technical reference for ministries, institutions, and regional governments in formulating national development strategic plans. Previously, Ministerial Regulation of PAN-RB number 11 of 2015 concerning the 2015 to 2019 Bureaucratic Reform Roadmap, previous policy period.
Thank you, Aura. So next point is relevant theories. The concept of bureaucracy introduced by Max Weber through his ideal type of modern bureaucracy is often used as a reference in Indonesia's bureaucratic system. This model emphasizes the principle of rationality with several key characters, such as clear division of labor, delegation of authority, impersonality, technical qualification, and focus on efficiency. Basically, Weber's ideal type was designed to create an effective and efficient bureaucracy in governing the state. However, in this practice, this concept cannot be fully applied in Indonesia. Adaptation have been made so that the bureaucracy remains relevant and in line with the social, political, and administrative conditions developing in Indonesia. Next slide. Supporting data. First one is Corruption Perception Index Indonesia. In Indonesia, in the latest Corruption Perception Index or CPI obtained a score of 37 per 100 and was ranked 99 out of the 1,180 countries, an increase compared the previous year, which was at a score of 34. Although it has increased, the position still indicates a relatively high level of corruption perception and below the global average. Number 2 is bureaucratic reform, RB score of ministries or institution on local government. The national average score demonstrates continuous improvement in the governance and public service. The figures below represent the general index average across different government tiers. First, ministries and or agencies. The index increase of 76.81 in 2024 to 98 in 2025. Provincial government, the index rose from 69.71 to 74.63. Regency and city governments, the index increased from 59 to 32 to 69.48. Next, SPBE index. The Ministry Administration and Bureaucratic Reform report that Indonesia National Electronic Based Government System Index increased to 3.12 in 2024, achieving a good category. This improvement shows stronger effort to integrate the digitalized public service across central and regional institutions with the goal of creating government services that are more efficient, transparent, and centered of public needs. Next, current news. Recent news and reports show that public service in Indonesia still face issues like petty corruption and illegal fees, as seen in several KPK findings and high-profile extortion case. The problem highlight weakness in service integrity, but the government is responding by expanding digital system and the integrate service platform to improve transparency and reduce opportunities for corruption. So, what is the progress of bureaucratic reform? First one is digitization of government service, like online civil registry or SSRBA, e-tax, etc. And then agencies that have successfully achieved WBK or WBBM status. And then simplification of bureaucracy, improvement of financial management and supervision. Let's move on to the next point. I will give the floor for Ririn.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Have you ever wondered what obstacles are faced in bureaucratic reform? The obstacles included are as follows. First, the hierarchical culture of bureaucracy and employee resistance. Second, corruption and illegal levies. Third, uneven human resource capacity. Fourth, overlapping regulations and uneven digital infrastructure condition. Fifth is inconsistency between central and regional policies. As you can see on this slide, this is an overview of the supporting data we found regarding corruption, SPBE, or electronical based government system, and a comparison chart of bureaucratic service. Let us move on to the next explanation, namely that Indonesia has shown progress in transparency, service efficiency, and government quality, particularly through digitalization, which has accelerated public service and improved access. Higher reform bureaucratic and SPBE scores also indicate better bureaucratic performance. However, reforms still face structural gaps, cultural resistance, political influence, and technical limitation. These obstacles slow down implementation and threaten long-term sustainability, indicating that consistent commitment and stronger institutional capacity are still needed. In conclusion, our research has shown that bureaucratic reform is a strategic step to improve governance, making it more effective, efficient, transparent, and service-oriented. This reform has a strong legal basis and is supported by a national roadmap with progress evident in the increase in the corruption in the corruption perception index and bureaucratic reform scores through service digitalization and simplification of the bureaucratic structure. However, its implementation is still hampered by a rigid bureaucratic culture, corruption, and imbalance in human resources, overlapping regulations, and uneven digital infrastructure. Therefore, accelerating digitalization, simplifying regulation, improving human resources competencies, and implementing consistent policies are key to achieving the reform objective optimally. And finally, recommendation for reforming Indonesia bureaucracy by accelerating digitalization, simplifying regulations, strengthening integrity and oversight, developing human resource capacity, and ensuring policy consistency at all levels of government.
Thank you, Ririn. So this is our reference, and then that concludes our presentation today. Thank you very much for your attention throughout our explanation. We hope our explanation was clear and useful. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.